what this game goes some way to showing, and it's something that I think I wish that more people would recognise when it comes to voice acting, is that the majority of professional voice actors that you hear in your video games are really very good voice actors and know what they're doing. The problem is that sometimes the voice direction they get is not always the best, and they're not always necessarily given the time to sort of perfect or get the right performance for what is needed. So actually the entire cast of Sonic can do great jobs at the characters that they have. It's just that the direction, I think, to this point for this particular cast has been variable in terms of quality, and I think they've begun to put a bit more money and time into that voice direction, and that's why actually a lot of the cast do a hell of a lot better here than they have done in previous titles.
Yeah, for sure. Like, look at Frontiers. That is a game with both a good direction and a good script.
So, Richie, what you're saying is, you think I shouldn't make my complaints about the gameplay on Mike Pollock's Facebook page?
Yes, I mean...
That man has the patience of a god, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, there are unfortunately other issues that have arisen with Mike Pollock, but we'll leave those be to the side because...
Please, Jesus.
Yes, we don't need to have that discussion these days.
I really like Mike Pollock and I respect him as a person, and that's where I'll leave it.
Indeed, otherwise we're going to end up here in like Crash Bandicoot Hell World.
That literally does look like a Crash level though, doesn't it?
It does. We're Sonic Heroes!
Although I will say, this is not going into that area, it's more with the release of Sonic X Shadow Generations. Obviously one of the things that happened was that the script for Sonic Generations was rewritten a bit and totally revoiced. And for some bizarre reason, I know people were going on at Ian Flynn during Frontiers, but they really seem to go absolutely bonkers over this for no real good reason, and people just need to stop doing that. And Kingdom Valley here is an excellent level.
It is. It might be the best Shadow level in the game.
It is a really solid level. I think what I like about this is a part that we'll see later, so I'll hold off on that for now. But when Sonic Generations first came out back in 2011 and Crisis City was the pick, I remember being kind of half and half on thinking like there could be like two different 06 levels. They're going to pick one of two. It's going to be either Crisis City or Kingdom Valley. So I'm glad that they kind of filled out the other half here.
I only really know about this route because of Penny Snapcube's run of Shadow Gems, and I am kind of glad that I watched that run. Mostly because, you know, I like Snapcube and their work, but also, that's a very cool route.
That is a cool route.
The level design in general, we've already sort of touched on this, but like, there's a lot of flexibility on what you can do, and I appreciate this. But this is part that I really like about Kingdom Valley. They took the section that, let's be real here, nobody liked the fucking hovercraft in Kingdom Valley. It didn't work. Give like the slightest little nudge against a bit of scenery and you'll die. It was shit, and sometimes you just have things falling on you out of nowhere. They took that and they replaced it with this new Doom Surf mechanic, which gives you so much more control over yourself when you're in the water. You can do like little spins just to kind of work around obstacles. It's like an upgrade in every way possible.
It is, and also, it's automatic. When you walk into the water, you don't have to like remember to press a button, it just happens.
Yeah, you don't go off these like very arbitrarily laid out section in Dusty Desert and immediately drown in sand, which is also nice.
I don't particularly want to drown in water, but I really don't want to drown in sand.
No, that's got to be like the worst way to go, isn't it?
I think certainly up there.
Fuck a shield. Lol. Thank you, helpful Freedom Eagle. Alright, here we go.
we've got Chaos Control, so you can sneak past him if you want, or you can use him as a prop later on to fire yourself up.
Oh, never mind. He got a little bit behind me, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Again, it's another thing that you're gonna pick up from replaying the level. If you Chaos Control him in just the right spot, there's a high route you can take there. Which again, you know, just another sign of how great the level design is here.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
These, like, air grind rails were one of the things that first sold me on 06 back in the day when I saw the trailer and they were showing them off. So it's like, seeing that kind of effect pulled off, like, at such high resolution now, it's like, we're finally realising what was sold to me back in, like, late 2005, early 2006. We finally got there, lads.
I know, right? Toy Story visuals move over. I want Sonic the Hedgehog prototype 2006 visuals.
Well, like, there are some of the, like, grind rail areas that are more akin to how they were in the, like, 2005 Tokyo Game Show demo than in the actual final game here, so that is cool.
Ow, rude.
That's very rude.
Going up.
Now, these are the kind of structures that I'm definitely recognising from, like, Vanilla 06's release, so...
This was the biggest surprise for me. Not in a million years did I think they'd represent the fucking max speed sections.
Yeah.
When I think of Kingdom Valley from 06, the max speed section is an iconic part of it, like, visually speaking, with, like, the parted tides. So I'm glad it's here. I'm glad that that didn't kill you like it would have in 06 just then. But also I have come to like the max speed sections in 06 over time now that I know what I'm doing with them, so I'm not grossly offended by them like a lot of people are.
Grossly offended. Come on, Flame.
You see the way that people talk about Sonic 06 online. You think it killed their fucking family. Jesus Christ.
Well, if not that, but Forces.
Well, Forces have kind of inherited that now, and that's the one that kind of baffles me, because, like, Forces is such a safe, middle-of-the-road game. I can't fathom having an extreme opinion on it either way.
Yeah, Forces is just... It's like there's nothing bad about it, it's just thoroughly average.
When I think about it, and I think of what could have been, you know...
Yeah, I suppose, but, like, still, it's... We had, like, 6 fucking years of discourse about that game. A game that you run through in, like, 3 hours and forget about.
That is a thing, and, you know, I'm obviously generalising here, but Sonic fans can get bored very easy. Just replay the games. You don't have to go back to the well for discourse that is probably older than some of you out there, let's be honest here.
It's one of those things where I feel like Twitter being one big containment break does not help. Because it's like, these are the sort of things that, like, yes, if somebody were to make a review of Sonic Forces, these are obviously the things they would talk about, because that is the right platform to do so. But then it becomes something that you can post on Twitter and make people mad about, and then they retweet, like, anyone who gets mad about it, retweets it to their followers, and it's a talking point for, like, the 10th time this week. Twitter isn't dying like everyone says it is, but I fucking wish it would.
Alright, let's do the 2D act of Kingdom Valley now, and if you thought Peak was over, well, it's not.
No, to be fair, Peak just doesn't really stop throughout the entire game.
It doesn't,
If you were to just show this to someone in, like, say 2007, when, like, emotions were at their absolute highest of 06, like, crashing and burning, just the idea that people would be this excited about seeing this again, it kind of shows you kind of how far we've come as a series. The fact that we've had so many, like, despite everything we can say about the meta era and that, the fact that we've now earned so much goodwill after Frontiers now, that people are excited to see revisits of these things that were panned at the time. Like, it does make you feel good about the franchise.
It does. Even though, like, I think, like, it's almost universally accepted that Kingdom Valley and Crisis City, maybe Mach Speed sections aside, were the high points of those games.
I feel like it's just a lot of people see 06 as a single entity rather than like a compilation of parts, and so like there was a period of time where even though like people who were playing it would be able to say like, yeah, this is the good part, this is the bad part as they're going along, it kind of did just leave bad feelings overall. And like when I say, like when I defend certain parts of 06, I do still get like the context it was released. It was sold as like this big, you know, like sort of a soft reboot of Sonic, and like they really put a lot of their marketing stock into that. And so it wasn't just that it was a broken game, it was a broken game that was sold to very high expectations. Context matters in that kind of thing, and we're able to look at it more fondly these days now that we haven't spent a lot of money on it like a week ago. That's a big part of it as well, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think the other thing that is important to sort of remember with that is also we all, like, everybody looks back on stuff from long ago more fondly than when it actually happened, because, I mean, you just look at pretty much all of the 80s nostalgia that has been over the last sort of 5 years or so. Like, I'm pretty sure like the people actually living through the 80s, they weren't necessarily best pleased about it when it was happening, but then sort of obviously nostalgia comes and we're all just like woo, and we're going through sort of the 90s and early noughties revival of things at the minute. And yeah, it's just that when you just have that space of time, you look back and go, oh, actually I enjoyed that bit more than I perhaps did at the time.
It's also, there's the fact that a new game is quite often seen as representation of what's to come. It's like, you kind of worried that this is gonna be like the foundation for the next thing, and so if you don't like this and you preferred what came before it,
yeah,
there's that worry that, well, the thing that I liked is gone. And this is far, like Sonic is far from the only franchise to suffer from that, and there's even games where I do like the new thing, where I do fully understand why people are upset. Like the big one right now I would say is like God of War, the new God of War games, like 2018 and the reboot,
yeah,
and Ragnarok. I mean, I enjoyed the 2018 game. I will get around to playing Ragnarok eventually because it does still look fun, but if you're like a big classic God of War fan, you're going to look at the fact that there's this, it's not really a reboot story-wise, but like gameplay reboot that has sold cajillions. You just sort of have this worry at the back of your mind now that you're never going to see this thing that you really like again. And so that's always going to be a factor in certain people's impressions of certain games.
I was right at the end and I died. That's Dimp's kind of stuff right there. And I didn't get any of the collectibles. I saw them as I flew past, but again, I'm better at 3D than I am at 2D.
Dimps are the go-to ones when it comes to putting a hard thing at the end of the level, but this game does that a fair bit too. Yes, we have big. But like, I noticed when I was trying to perfect run these levels, it was usually the Black Doom sections that would fuck over my runs more so than the levels themselves.
Hello. Your name's Shadow, isn't it? Have you seen my good buddy, Froggy?
God, put a fucking bell on that guy.
Actually, don't. As someone who has a dog who has a metal collar on him, and when it gets dislodged, you hear him like rattling around. Don't do that, it gets annoying.
See, I can imagine. He ran off again, so I went looking for him. Somehow I wound up here. I'll keep looking. If I see anything interesting, I'll let you know. I don't know if Big has extra dialogue. I know he does towards the end, but besides that,
Out of all the new voices, Biggs is the one that it's the most jarring, but I also kind of get it, because...
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that nowadays you would get away with having someone doing what is straight up like, you know, it's a special needs voice, let's be blunt here, the way he was in Adventure. It's like, I miss it, but I also get why they changed it.
Ruins are fragile and unstable. I must not enter. My overwhelming might would destroy it effortlessly.
Oh, I've missed Omega.
Warning, temporal desynchronization in urban environments. Weapons and egg tech not compatible with current data. I conclude this region is from the future relative to us. It is good to work with you, Shadow. You do not express useless terms like restraint or mercy. I will likewise support your goals without question. Let us resume the mission.
Observation.
Yeah, okay. Former seat of the Solianan government. Ooh, hello.
Omega does get some of the best lines. Like, he got some of the best lines in Dark Beginnings as well, and it was literally just him saying, I call dibs whenever robots showed up. He's also the one who I think, because out of like the current cast, he's probably had the most voice actors, yet there's only a couple of times where you would actually notice because of how heavily filtered he is.
06 would be probably the most egregious one.
Maddie Blaustein has always been one of my favourite voice actresses. She has done some amazing roles over the years, but like, they're clearly just taken whatever she turned in and just like completely filtered it till it was unrecognisable.
Alright, I need to fill up my gauge. But how? How do I fill up the gauge? How do I reach this gauge?
You could not worry about it for now and go off to the other things.
I'll shush, Flame.
Look, I don't know if you've noticed, whenever I've said in the past I'm not big on collectathons, it is impatience that causes that.
Yeah, don't mind me.
Also, I do love that you went for the collect rings by destroying the targets, and then have proceeded to basically pick up none of the rings that are dropping from said targets.
Richie, don't tell them that.
Don't tell them the thing that they've just watched with their own eyes.
You got very close there, considering how long it took you to start doing it properly.
Considering you went on a detour for a fucking pickup, yeah.
Well. Let's just do it again, because I want to at least show one of these correctly. Ah, here we go. Can I go, please? There we go.
Whee!
Artwork, that's Heroes, I believe.
I think so, but unfortunately when it shows up in that window it's kind of too small to figure it out. So they're the ones that you go to the like collection room for.
A green. I can't unlock it.
I will say these are actually quite challenging, some of them, and it's quite fun sort of trying to take on the challenge, but I do wish that some of them would be a little bit easier.
I'm gonna be honest, most of my experience with these was accidentally hitting the thing to start and when I was just running around looking for stuff. And this goes for the missions as well, like trying to get the higher ranks. The Chaos Control does stop the in-game timers as well, so that can work to your benefit.
Woohoo!
Barely make that out, that looked like a comic-like sketch.
Don't worry about it.